Okay. Having suffered this for the last few weeks, I've decided to try and explain what this means because, oh my god, it is a nightmare, right? So whenever I say I'm spiraling, this is to serve as a message, not a message, but like a memory for me. In a while's time, I look back on this and see if it's still correct. So, not reading. Um, Spiraling is basically code for depression because it happens to people sometimes, right? So, here is a graph, right? And here will be happiness. My writing is amazing. And this is time. Going that way, right? So, we'll do blue first, right? Everybody has like a happiness that they will default at for most of their life, right? So, it's about 50% here, right? So, everybody has, most people, I would say, live on this blue line. And then something really good will happen, and you'll get pretty happy over time, and you'll always default back down to like that point on the line. This is where your default will be. So it's like you get married, a really good date happened, you've had a good night with your partner, something really nice has happened that you enjoy personally, enjoy. Everyone's is kind of different, right? Sometimes something really good will happen, and you'll even higher, etc. Right? But you'll always default back down here. Sometimes someone will die, or someone you care about will die, or you'll lose your job, or you'll have money issues, or you'll lose your partner, or you'll have a stressful like event in your life, or even small things can trigger this, and you'll kind of go down for a period of time, but you'll always go back in time. Maybe take a bit longer, but you'll go back to this line, right? This right here is sadness. This is not depression, okay? Because sadness is caused by something, and it will always default back over here. It may take some people a long time than others, but it will always default back eventually because your brain will do that, right? So this is like the blue line will be like an average person's line, right? Me, I would say that I'm about here. I think my average happiness is pretty high. If I've got a good day with Thomas, my happiness goes to like here. If I go have a good day with Jen or anyone I spend time with, my happiness will go here. Someone passes away or I get really upset, I'll go down to here, maybe a bit further down, but I'll always go back up here again, right? So my worst situation is usually just under someone's normal day, right? So it's not like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but this is kind of what I mean. Like, it doesn't go down. If the line ever hits this line down here, you're basically at that point, you're basically doomed. It's basically suicide at that point, right? However, I would say for about 1 month of the year in total, it spreads out. It usually goes in like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, or something like that, right? It's usually always around the same time. My base happiness suddenly, for no reason, drops to about here for the period of time that I'm spiraling or the depression strikes, right? It can happen completely randomly and there's no control. It just happens and everything comes to this line. Everything in my life is affected, right? And you can hide it, but this is the reality, right? So when something really good happens, whenever I'm spiraling, it goes up and then down. So like, if something really, really good happens, you're not even at the baseline of like someone's normal day when nothing's happening, right? You're not even that's when something really good happens. This is where it's dangerous. So when something bad happens, you kind of dip down and you go up, and if something really bad happens, you can get edgy close to this. This is the problem, is this red line, and it happens randomly. And when it happens, people confuse it because they think it's either sadness or attention seeking or whatever, and there's literally no way to stop it. It's very difficult to communicate this to other people without them thinking, oh, he's just one of those fake depressants or something, right? Or people just think you're either in the wrong or you're just insane or you're just sad. This part of the line is the sadness. The baseline is what the problem is. This is the best way I can explain it. Now, I will make it very clear. I would say approximately 90% of the time, I'm here. 10% of the time, I'm here, right? But because I'm so high 90% of the time, and I drop down to this, people don't take this seriously, right? because I'm always here. People always think, not assume, but like I would say when I'm in this mindset, most people either don't care or they assume that I'm going to go back to that. Right? They just assume it's a given. The scary thing is if that happens when you're in this mindset, because if this line happens when you're up here, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But it happens. The same action can happen in a spiral, and you're fucked. Like it's GG at that point, you know. So that's the best way I can explain it. I want to look back at this later on and see if I still agree with it. But this is like the best way I can possibly explain it.